I used to believe that every town keeps one secret it refuses to bury. Not the kind written in archives or whispered on walking tours, but the kind that breathes quietly, patiently, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Mine was a rural town pressed between dark pine forests and endless stretches of farmland in the American Midwest. The kind of place where church bells mark time, where neighbors wave from pickup trucks, and where people still leave porch lights on until morning. It felt safe in the way only small towns can. Predictable, gentle. But there was a legend no one told directly. They only hinted at her. If you asked about the old stone crossroads outside town, the one where the cornfields give way to a patch of untamed woods, someone would clear their throat, glance at the sky as if measuring the hour, and change the subject. They called her the Orchard Bride, not because there was an orchard anymore. The apple trees had been cut down decades ago, replaced with soy fields and wind turbines. But older residents insisted that long ago, before highways and gas stations, that land belonged to a widower and his daughter. And the daughter was beautiful. That is how these stories always begin, isn't it? Beautiful, quiet, watchful. The first time I heard her name, it was during a late autumn bonfire with friends. Leaves were brittle underfoot, the air smelled like smoke and pumpkin spice candles, and someone mentioned that drivers sometimes saw a woman standing near the crossroads after midnight, dressed in something pale, not quite a wedding gown, but close enough. "She asks for help," my friend muttered, staring too long into the fire. "She says she's lost." Everyone laughed. Someone threw another log into the flames, but no one stayed out past midnight after that. I didn't believe it. I had grown up with horror movies and urban legends, Bloody Mary, Slender Man, hitchhikers on desolate roads. The Orchard Bride felt like another recycled ghost story, until I saw her. It was late October, the kind of night where the sky hangs low and the wind scrapes dry corn husks together so they whisper in the dark. I was driving back from a neighboring town, country radio humming softly, my headlights carving tunnels through the black, and there she was, standing at the edge of the road, perfectly still. She wasn't glowing. She wasn't transparent. She looked real, too real. Pale skin, long dark hair drifting slightly in the wind, a long cream-colored dress that seemed old-fashioned but not theatrical, like something thrifted and forgotten. I slowed down. You would have, too. She lifted her head slowly, deliberately, as if the movement required thought. And she smiled. Not wide, not exaggerated, just enough. My chest tightened, but I told myself she was a stranded tourist, maybe someone from the nearby college pulling a prank. I rolled down my window. "Are you okay?" Her voice, when she spoke, was soft, almost melodic. "I can't find my way back." "Back where?" I nearly asked, but the words caught in my throat, because her eyes were wrong, not in shape, not in color. They were empty, not hollow. Empty, like a storefront after everything has been cleared out. Shelves removed, lights turned off. Still standing, but vacant. "I was supposed to meet someone," she continued. "He said he'd wait." The wind rose suddenly, rattling the dried stalks in the field behind her. I felt an urge, deep and inexplicable, to step out of the car, to walk toward her, to offer my hand, to follow, and in that suspended second, when the world seemed to hold its breath, I heard something, not from outside, from behind me. A faint whisper brushing the back of my neck. Don't. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was barely there, but it snapped something inside me. I blinked, and she was closer. I hadn't seen her move. She was just closer. Her smile stretched slightly wider. "Will you stay with me?" she asked. The air felt colder than it should have been. My dashboard read 58 degrees, but frost prickled along my arms. "I'm sorry," I muttered, though I didn't know what I was apologizing for. I rolled up the window. Her hand lifted slowly, pressing against the glass. The sound it made, a faint scrape, not nails, not skin, something harder. I drove. I didn't look back, not once. For days I convinced myself it was imagination, stress, fatigue, rural isolation playing tricks on my mind. But then others began to speak. A delivery driver who refused to take the late route anymore. A high school teacher who swore someone had knocked on her car window at the crossroads, only to find nothing there. A farmer who claimed he saw footprints in the soil leading in circles as if someone had wandered endlessly searching. And always the same detail. She asks for someone. She's waiting. Then came the disappearances. Not dramatic, not newsworthy, just people leaving town unexpectedly. A mechanic who packed up overnight. A bartender who stopped showing up. A college student who never returned from a late drive. Small towns don't like patterns, so they ignored it. Until I began to dream. In the dreams I stood in a field that wasn't corn and wasn't grass, just endless gray soil stretching under a colorless sky. She stood ahead of me, her back turned, waiting. "I found him," she whispered once, though her lips didn't move. I woke up with dirt under my fingernails. Real dirt. Dark, damp, earthy. That was when I went to the Historical Society digging through records about the old orchard. There had been no widower, no daughter, but there was a young woman over a century ago who vanished the night before her wedding. Her fiancé reported her missing, said she ran away, said she had cold feet. He married someone else within a year, and a few years later, he disappeared too. No body, no explanation. Just gone. I don't know if she was wronged, betrayed, abandoned, but something in that soil refuses to rest. They say spirits linger when unfinished longing binds them to the living, and longing can rot into something else, if left too long in the dark. The last time I saw her was 3 nights ago, not at the crossroads, in my rearview mirror. I was parked outside my apartment complex, suburban, well-lit, safe. The kind of place with motion sensor lights and security cameras. I glanced into the mirror before stepping out, and she was sitting in the back seat. Her hands folded neatly in her lap, her head tilted slightly, her smile no longer gentle, but wide, wider than a mouth should stretch. "You promised," she murmured. I couldn't move. The air felt thick, like breathing through water. "I only need one," she said softly. The dome light flickered, once, twice, and then darkness. When the light returned, the seat was empty, but the passenger door was open, and muddy footprints led away from the car, not toward the fields, not toward the woods, toward my building. I haven't slept since. Sometimes, late at night, when the wind pushes against the windows and distant traffic hums like a restless tide, I hear soft footsteps in the hallway outside my door. Slow, measured, waiting. I don't know what she wants. I don't know if she's searching for the one who left her or if she's choosing replacements. But I do know this. If you ever drive through open farmland after midnight and you see someone standing alone at a crossroads, don't slow down. Don't roll down your window. And whatever you do, do not let her inside. Because once she finds a place to sit quietly behind you, once she feels the warmth of your living breath, she doesn't ask to be taken home. She makes your life her home, and she never leaves. Listen carefully the next time you check your rearview mirror. If the back seat looks just a little darker than it should, if the air feels colder for no reason at all, if you sense someone waiting patiently, lovingly, hungrily, don't turn around, just drive and pray. She's still searching for someone else.